Good day, and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo, and welcome to day 4 of A Year of Change. I had a subject picked for today, but I'm going to deviate a little bit from that. I saw something last night that sort of struck me, and I thought I would probably bring it up on this, fairly early on in the program. I don't watch a lot of TV. A lot of the stuff that I do have, I'll binge watch. So I don't often, catch ads for other TV shows. But I saw someone had mentioned a show called Man vs. Food, and during one of the shows I was watching, and some of you may be aware of this. It's an older show from like 2008 or so when it started, and I've only gotten in about 10 episodes so far, but it's something really odd that I figured I would bring up here just to sort of, open up a discussion about it a little bit, because it's really strange. The premise of the show is that this guy goes around all over the country, and the different challenges that restaurants will have, like if you eat 500 wings, or if you eat the suicide biscuits or whatever it is that they have, then you get your picture on a wall or something like that. He goes around to all these different restaurants throughout the states, and just all these different cities doing these challenges. And some of them aren't too bad. Like some of them are just getting the hottest noodles or the hottest wings, something like that. But the ones that really struck me were the ones where it's a huge volume of food. Some of the stuff that he's done so far, that I've seen anyway, there was a 30-inch pizza that he had to finish with one other person. There was, I think it was 7 pounds of a 7-pound burrito, a 12-egg omelet, like just insane amounts of food that these people have to sit. They have to eat it all in one sitting, like usually with a time limit, like an hour or so. And watching this guy do that it's a mixture. It's kind of like, I said to a friend of mine, it was kind of like watching Smurfs at an orgy. It's really gross and kind of mesmerizing in a way. And then there's some weird sick part of you that goes, I kind of want to try that. But in general, watching it's really off-putting. There's a number of reasons. Number one of which is just the amount of food that this person is taking in all at once. I mean, it's huge. There's one where there was like a hamburger with 12 patties and then 5 pounds of fries, which is served on just this massive tray. And aside from the fact that he eats like a toddler, there's food like up on his forehead when he's eating this stuff. It's just ridiculous, the amount of mess that he makes. Watching someone start out, fairly normal, and then within 20 minutes, they're to a point where they're physically sick, they're sweating, they look like they've been beaten up, and it's just one of those things that, for me anyway, when I look at it, I don't even know if I had the words for it. I mean, when it's done this before when I watched Super Size Me years and years and years ago when it came out. That put me off fast food pretty much forever. I've probably been to a fast food place maybe 2 or 3 times since I've seen it. That I can remember anyway. Probably has been more, but it really just sort of sets you off to a point where you just, I just don't want to do that. Just watching that overindulgence. Sort of like the old, if your parents caught you smoking and they would make you smoke a carton of cigarettes sort of thing. That it's a good motivational tool for me when I watch something like that. Because it's so over the top. And I understand that that's its purpose. And it's entertaining. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not condemning the show or anything like that. If you don't want to watch it, you don't need to watch it. But watching something like that, like a spectacle like that, it's just amazing to me, that people can do that to themselves on a regular basis, because these aren't, unique things that he's gone to a restaurant and said, oh, well, I want to try, eating this. These are things that the restaurant has set out as a challenge that, hundreds of other people have tried. The vast majority of them fail because it's just an insane amount of food. But every now and then, someone goes through it, so then, it just sort of keeps it going. Which is, I suppose, it's a good, advertising tool for the restaurant, things like that. But, and again, I'm mainly just focusing on how I'm seeing it, which is just like watching a car crash in slow motion. It's fascinating and disgusting at the same time. If you take out all the little extraneous bits of the show, they obviously get the patrons of the restaurant to sort of join in and, write little comments for them to shout out to them. But watching the actual eating portion of it is what struck me. Because although it's not, not doing it all in one sitting, a lot of us are still doing that to ourselves. That, a hamburger with 12 patties is an insane amount of food. But if you're going, if you're having 2 or 3 meals where you're getting a double burger and then you have snacks throughout the day and, then you go out with friends and you have, pub food that way, we're still eating that same amount of food in the run of the day. And, it's obviously very damaging for a lot of us. But that's the weird thing. This guy isn't, he doesn't look like me. He's big, but he's not how you would expect him to look. So I suspect that there's, quite a bit of exercise that he does afterwards, or that he'll eat normally, and starve himself before he does one of these challenges. So that might be it as well. But the vast majority of people that you see that are around him on the show, like people that will sometimes join in with him, they look like me. They're huge. And I think I don't know if it's because we've sort of gotten to this point where we can watch shows like this, where it's so commonplace that they can do it, or if it's just, because we tend to almost celebrate gluttony in some aspects. But it's an interesting watch anyway. So if you get a chance, go up, take a look. You can find them on YouTube. That's where I found mine. And you can just go through some of the different videos that are up there. It's interesting, and if you're one of those people like me that, watching it is sort of then, it's probably going to be a good tool to keep watching, just because it sort of puts into perspective what we're putting into our bodies. If you're one of those people that watches something like that and goes, challenge accepted, and I want to do that, it may not be the best show for you. But again, we're still early enough in the program that, I can't see it doing too much harm. So go up and take a look, just to sort of, maybe I'm the only one that thinks this. Maybe this is just, how I'm looking at it. But if you can, share in the comments as well. And, just whether or not if you agree with me or anything like that, but, sort of what it does, if you think it's, a good thing to watch because it sort of pushes back on you and goes, yeah, I don't want to do that, and sort of curbs your eating habit, or if it's one of those things that you think, what, yes, I'd like to try this, or I'd like to try that. And like I say, some of them aren't too bad. Some of them are, just eat 6 wings, but they're really, really hot. Those aren't the ones I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the ones where it's a tremendous amount of food, like having 7 breakfast tacos, and so he tried to eat 8, and I think he got halfway through or something like that. Just watching someone pack themselves to capacity, to a point where, they don't look good at all. There's obviously some damage being done there, let alone the aftermath. I don't even want to think about what, how long he's going to spend in the bathroom after that. But, we've all done that at some point, eaten so much that, you're sitting with that last bite in your mouth and you think, if I swallow this, I'm going to barf. So that's what it did for me anyway, was sort of remind me to not do that, to get to, sort of looking at myself and going, not that I've eaten a 7-pound burrito, but eaten enough to a point where you're immediately sleepy, you feel like you've been beaten up, and you just want to, lay down somewhere and just hibernate. So it's sort of an eye-opener for me anyway, because I've done that, and maybe some of you out there have done that as well. But that was really it. I just sort of wanted to bring that up because it was just something that really struck me as something that I thought was relevant to what we're doing here, and early enough, and especially where the past couple of videos have been a little negative. This is a little bit more entertaining for you. So go up, take a look at that, and you can sort of ignore the him being over the top and the bad acting and everything else. The mess he makes is astounding. So there's that as well. But it's just interesting to sort of go up, take a look, and just see something that's become so commonplace, stuff that we're doing to ourselves, which has sort of put us in the position that we're in now. So, but that was it. Just sort of wanted to touch base. I'll get back on track tomorrow with something a little more relevant to what we're doing. But this is just sort of a TV show recommendation. I think they've only got 4 seasons out, so I think he's quit or he's moved on to other shows. I can only guess because he would have killed himself if he had to keep going the way he was going. But it's called Man vs. Food. You should be able to go up and do a quick search through YouTube and find it. In the meantime, though, thank you for watching. If you liked it, poke the like button for me, and stay warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.